So let's head over there to Antiga Shipyard for our second game in our second series of today. Alive is down 1-0. Frodan, can't believe I just said that, against Thorzain, who just recently won DreamHack.
Yeah.
Bopped some clowns, took some nerd names. And
he looked really good while doing it, too.
He scratched off a couple of Koreans as well. Can he do it here?
Yeah. Well, I definitely have faith in him. And we were talking earlier about Thorzain, and he beat Polt, who was a very good player, but Alive is, a lot of people thought he was just unstoppable. I mean, I remember watching IPL, and some people were saying Alive could be potentially one of the best Terrans, as they were saying that in the cast. So, of course, we've been wrong in the past, and I wouldn't mind being wrong here. Alive is your purple Terran here in the top right corner of the map. He's on Team Fnatic Raid Call, right now practicing in Korea. And in the bottom left corner, we have none other than Mouse CC Thorzain. Marcus Eklov, the recent DreamHack champion. We've been saying that multiple times, but that's because, we haven't had that many foreigner wins recently, and a strong one like at DreamHack.
I do believe you have a segment, a wonderful segment, I should say, that actually details all of the player winnings, and the Koreans have a pretty staggering control of the money in these sorts. I like how you laugh when you say that.
It was 87%. It was crazy. But, Thorzain now moves up to, I think, 20th in terms of most earnings overall in StarCraft 2 thus far. And, that's just a way to climb up the standings slowly. So great job for him. And we only can expect for more, hopefully, when Thorzain plays TSL 4. But, Alive, we say, okay, well, Alive has good TVT, but who has he beat recently? In IPL 4 alone, he beat Polt as well. He beat Marine King Prime. Now, people say he's probably the best Terran in the world at the moment. And he also beat Ganji, another Terran that people always forget has really solid TVT. His win rate in the matchup is 75%. And Thorzain is one of those wins off of him.
And for Thorzain to defeat his opponent, who has a 70% or 75% win rate overall, we could say that Thorzain took it to a whole nother level.
You gotta say level with a B, level.
Oh, I'm sorry. A whole nother level.
And Thorzain really is hitting new strides, I feel. But for now, he is staying on one base while teching. Now, Antiga Shipyards, how does this map play out for TVT? Why do you think Alive chose it?
Well, both of these players are doing a gas first. This is pretty common because it has the most flexibility, I would say. There's a lot of different builds that you can do on Antiga Shipyard. You can see this outwards area near the third for both these players is actually very accessible for these drops. And if you go for a fast expansion, you could be susceptible to a lot of different things. Attacks down here and just slow elevator. There's Banshees. There's just regular Marine Hellion. There's 2 racks. There's so many different things. So I think this is the most standard way we can go on Antiga Shipyard. It's kind of weird to say that, since normally people see this as a very standard opening map. But I think 1 rack CC is probably one of the hardest builds to do on this map. That's why most of the time you see 1 rack's Reaper expand.
Oh, interesting note to point out. You should tell Mr. Bitter that. He'll probably be really happy.
Mr. Bitter, he has a sick honestly, sick obsession with Reaper expands. It's crazy.
I don't know. I'm always blown away when he ever describes it. He talks about his most enjoyable pleasures in life, and Reaper expand is definitely one of them. But we see Alive and Thorzain, both their Hellions, having a little skirmish here in the center. Thorzain will be able to seize map control, though, as Alive will concede it momentarily. But Alive, he's going for a Marine Hellion with a medevac, so he can try to go for some elevator play. And this is another thing that's been pretty popular recently, too. Andre, what are your thoughts about this, especially that Thorzain's opening up for Banshee while expanding?
Again, another very strong build, in my opinion. Marine Hellion plus the medevac gives you a lot of agency to move around, do a lot of damage, indirect damage even. You can force a lot of units out early in the game, and also punish players that go for a super fast expansion. Now, we don't see that too much in this game. It is a little bit more of a gamble for Alive to do this, because he is going against what he knows to be a 1 base, since he saw those Hellions, but it looks like it's going to be pretty profitable here, as he drops his first set of Marines and now his Hellions.
And he will supply block Thorzain momentarily, but Thorzain does finish his command center and has that room. Oh, targeting down some of the SCVs on gas, a good choice, but the Banshee trying to see if they can trap him, and Alive has to pick and choose which are his favorite units because he's not going to be able to save all of them.
Oh, very nice decision by Alive. Go into this corner, force a couple of SCVs to clump up, and then target them down. More importantly, I like his choice of actually just strictly targeting down those SCVs. Let's look at the income tab, 22 to 21. He has been able to even things up quite a bit. The only thing is his expansion is a little bit behind. But overall,
a little bit behind. Yeah. Pretty behind.
I do like what we see here because he did limit his opponent from doing any damage to those that Banshee as well.
That's true. He kept the Banshee back at home, and he got a full scout on, and all he committed was mineral units, and able to keep the one unit he spent gas on. So Alive, he's getting Cloak for himself, and probably will start a Banshee, because I mean, who would get Cloak without a Banshee?
That would be pretty important.
That's like
he's just waiting for
buying
100
peanut
gas,
butter at a store without jelly.
I've seen that happen.
But it's like you just don't do that.
What if instead of
especially
jelly,
at Costco, because you buy 2 jars of peanut butter and you don't buy any jelly, so now you don't have any.
2 different things that they can get peanut butter without jelly. Ready? Nutella.
So peanut butter with Nutella?
Do you know how delicious that is?
Nutella just lost like $3.5 million.
Yes, they did.
For being sued, so I don't
well, who in their right mind would think Nutella is healthy?
Not me.
The only person I can think of is our producers, and there's a reason why he is
shaped the way he is.
Whoa! That is BM.
I was just finishing your thought, man.
No, I was going to say
watch
has
yourself,
diabetes.
Andre. Speaking of watching yourself, Alive has to watch out for his medevac. There's a Viking out to the field. Oh, he does clean up one thing here, and Thorzain immediately scares off Alive's medevac. So Alive, his harass hasn't been that effective the second time around, but he did take the SCV lead, so it was a good job there. And, you know, now he can resume everything else normally while taking that advantage. He also is getting Blue Flame Hellions. I like that. You know, Hellions used to have a huge place in TVT, and Alive, he's getting a second factory, so it looks like he's going to transition to a little bit more mech flame.
It means we will see some sort of huge amount of Hellions in this early game stage. Normally, you want a lot of Hellions in that early game stage to claim map control. If you're able to get map control, you're in a really good position, obviously, to just stop your opponent from doing, gaining ways to do damage against you. And that way you can kind of hold off the siege tank production.
Oh, Thorzain.
And holding off that siege tank production allows you to really invest that into quality units.
Yeah. And in the end,
or quality upgrades. I'm going crazy here.
Oh, sorry. No, I'm trying to focus on the Banshees that are going back and forth between bases. Alive, run straight into a turret, taking some initial damage. Thorzain wants to scan and take it out. You can sense it, but he's actually going to run straight by that turret and take some good damage, and Thorzain cleans it up pretty easily. And in the end, we see a couple exchanges. Thorzain is the one now on top of the SCV count after picking off Alive. We look at the workers killed. It's been a slugfest this game.
Who's been better at making SCVs? Both of them are pretty good. All right, cool story.
Yeah, they're pretty even, and that's actually really good for Thorzain. The fact that, you know, Alive is usually, his style is able to harass and take advantage in TVT and out-macro you. Thorzain's the one that currently has more SCVs.
But I think Alive is in a better position, I'll tell you why. He has cleared off and traded enough units to establish himself as 3rd and 4th gas. A lot of times you won't get your 3rd and 4th gas until you get your 3rd oh, he already has his 3rd factory up. But normally you won't get the 3rd and 4th gas until your 3rd factory is up and going, because you just need the sheer amount of units to defend against pushes like this. You can see in the middle of the map. But I think, you know, it's very hard for Thorzain to say, I should push here, but he's going ahead and doing it, making some really tough decisions, but overall, very, very strong ones.
Alive doesn't have stim either. Thorzain's +1's about to finish, so this is only going to make it harder for Alive to kind of re-engage, and he's detracting these units, trying to push Thorzain away from his intended destination. Alive going to try to even find the high ground. Nice little play there, and the Hellion, of course, does help. And Thorzain, in the end, his push was stalled for the appropriate amount of time. He's going to try to get some units back at home.
As you can see, though, this accomplishes the same narrative that we've been talking about all the time. Buy yourself more time. Now he switched completely to Hellions. Is that a good counter to siege tanks and marines? No. But he's been able to trade enough Marines that you don't want to push out with just siege tanks. 3 siege tanks and 4 Marines really can't do anything. Now he establishes control in the middle map with these Hellions. So you have to worry, oh man, there could be a run by at any time in this game. That's really dangerous. And because of that, Thorzain should just back up. Oh, wow, you don't want to lose those units though.
Yeah, and one thing
careful.
that Alive did really clever, though, is that he cleaned up the Marines specifically, and then he used his Cloak Banshee to clean up the rest of them in the center that was reinforcing. So Thorzain got a little worried because his anti-air is actually very limited. And that Banshee could play a huge factor in the next coming battle if Thorzain commits this push.
I don't think Alive actually thinks his opponent will push like this. This is a very bold move. I don't think this is correct, but as you were saying, that Banshee's so important. Oh, it does get picked off. Nice job overall, but here we go. The engagement will start.
Nice.
And the power of the auto turret, look at that. It actually soaked up so much damage, and even the Hellions, they don't take a lot of damage from those siege tanks because they are light. So he's able to clean that up pretty easily. And on top of that, Alive establishes the siege tank count, or not siege tank, the siege tank advantage. Along with that, he has the siege tank production advantage. That's another key thing in this battle of TVT.
Yeah, Alive really utilizing that Mech Raven Viking style very well, and he is going to try to see if he can drop and try to see if he can pick off some SCVs. Thorzain's not paying attention to the side of the corner. Oh, now he is. He sees it. He's running frantically. His Marines are awaiting those Hellions, and a great read by Thorzain. But Alive, his advantage has been set 60 SCVs to 37, and Alive, he's been picking off a lot in Thorzain's Bane with his Banshees,
Now, one thing, if I want to be critical over Alive, he needs to be out in the middle of the map trying to do some sort of, or at least looking like he can do some sort of run-by with Hellions. That's the main thing. You want to keep the Marine Marauder army, or whatever it is. I mean, whatever army you're going against. You want to keep them inside their base as long as possible. But Alive in particular, because you want that siege tank count to build up. They get better exponentially. It's not a straight linear advantage once you get the numbers up. So, 12 siege tanks, the difference between 12 and 8 is quite severe. So if you can get additional siege tanks and just buy time with minerals, just straight minerals, he will be in a great position to kill any bio army, no matter what the upgrades are.
Yeah, and I love this. Alive knows that, Marine Tank really flourishes off 3 base, so he's keeping his barracks there just to keep tabs on Thorzain's expansion pathing. And Thorzain, he's not doing so hot supply-wise, but that's, again, because the worker disparity has been really significant. Alive has how many tanks onto the field now, Andre? He's got 8 compared to 2. And Thorzain's starting to mix in a couple Marauders, but keep in mind that Raven's still alive, and we've seen Thorzain actually utilize PDD very well when he played mech against Polt.
So this is the anti-timing for Thorzain to actually push out with these medevacs. It will weaken the army of Thorzain significantly in the front. You can see Alive has established control in the middle of the map, and that's one of the big things. You can't really drop too effectively when your opponent has established that center control. And here it is. GG comes out immediately.
Yeah, Alive playing very well that game on Antiga Shipyard, ties up the series, and Alive showing why this TVT is to be feared.
Again, classic textbook play by Alive, really strong play overall. The main thing I want to concentrate on is that end part. Now, Thorzain, I guess he figured, I'm behind, I need to catch up, I'm going to do something a little bit riskier, so he went for the drop without having map control. And when you do that, you're open to a huge array of different pushes just because each medevac is worth 10 supply. We've talked about this a lot of times. So 20 supply is cut from your army. When you only have 60 supply in general, well, that's a third of your army right there, gone. Not even in the battle. Alive was easily able to walk that over.
So Alive ties it up, but keep in mind, Thorzain does have map choice, so he has that. Can he tip map 3 into his favor and take the series against one of the best TVT players in the world? Find out after this commercial. Don't go anywhere. More action from Division 4 is coming up right after this.